everyone, and welcome to Testing Grounds, a show where we like to showcase new games that have come out in the last few months. And today we are going to be showcasing Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. Before we get started with that, I have a couple quick announcements for everyone. We have an online all-woman speedrunning event, Frame Fatales, returning with another event, Fleet Fatales, on November 15th, 2020. Game submissions are closing tonight, so go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more info on that. The next date for Fleet Fatales is going to be the game schedule, which will be coming out October 14th, so be sure to check that out as well. To learn about all of our different Hotfix shows, you can go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. We're actually looking for a new show this upcoming November, so if you have an idea and are free on Wednesdays for a Hotfix show, you can email hotfix@gamesdonequick.com. Also, tomorrow we have the Mystery Tournament starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, so come see runners blind racing a series of different games. Again, that's 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for the Mystery Tournament. And with that, I am joined by Laxus first here, going to be showing off Episode 1 Normal Veteran for Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. Laxus, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone to Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. This game came out 2 months ago on the 10th of July, I think. It kind of came out of nowhere as a successor to Curse of the Moon 1, surprisingly, which was originally a Kickstarter side project of Ritual of the Night. So now we have 3 games in the Bloodstained series. So I'm Laxus, and I'm joined today by the Blacktastic, or you can call him Bobby, and also by Strizer86.
Evening all.
All right. So before we start the first run, just want to point out real quick, there's a lot more content in this game than in the first game, and therefore a lot more possibilities to play the game, to speedrun it. We will show off episode 1, 2, and 3, or episode X. There's another episode, there's single mode where you can play with a solo character. There's different ways to play this game. I will show normal mode. The other 2 later on will show ultimate mode. We talk about that later. Different difficulties, a lot of stuff. You can also play it in 2-player co-op. Fortunately, for now, we don't have any co-op runs on our leaderboards, but I think they could also make really fun speedruns and have some new strategies. All right, so before I really start, I want to show something off real quick. A great way, if you want to get into this game, to actually practice this game. Big shout outs to Captain Brian, who made a lot of stuff for the Bloodstained community. He made auto trackers, he made a trainer program for Curse of the Moon 1, and he made a trainer program for Curse of the Moon 2, which I want to show real quick. So I hope you can see it on stream now. So there's a ton of stuff you can do in this, like giving you different characters. That was the wrong button. There, you can have all kinds of characters. You can give them different sub-weapons. You can give yourself HP, weapon points, all kinds of stuff. You can teleport to different locations. Really, it's a great tool for practicing. Obviously only available if you play on PC. But yeah, if you want to get into the game, this helps a lot. All right, that's just what I wanted to say. Now we can actually start the first run.
Good
So
luck.
it's gonna be, thank you, I will need it. This is gonna be episode 1, normal mode. And on veterans are pretty much the standard way you would play the game for the first time. All right, let's count this down in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we start as Zangetsu. Well, he actually isn't really good. He's pretty...
In this mode.
Okay.
Yeah,
right, word.
in this mode, he's pretty weak. So just like in classic Castlevania games, you have a committed jump, so you can't change your direction and stuff. We have sub-weapons. This is one of them, the chain. Deals a little bit more damage than the standard attack, but it's not too great. You have these weapon points in the top left, which you use for your sub-weapons. So pretty standard stuff that you know from any classic Castlevania games, pretty much. Jumping on stairs is hard.
Even in this game.
It's
Not
hard in this game.
one.
So yeah,
That's a joke.
yeah, pretty much. We all three are like veterans. We already speedrun the first Curse of the Moon game, so a lot of stuff carries over from that one. Picking up another sub-weapon here. It's pretty much the holy water of this game. And doing some damage boosts. Usually damage boosting is a little bit slower than just walking, but obviously faster than waiting to kill the enemies. I was wrong, but it's alright.
And you want to make sure to attack while you have like movement in the air. If you ever like attack while you're on the ground, you just kind of stay stationary. You're not allowed to move at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And each
the
character has unique sub-weapons as well. So Zangetsu will get, and each character also has like primary and then one kind of unique sub-weapon. So Zangetsu gets his charm, he gets his demon essence, which is the more unique of his trio of sub-weapons, and then his chain, which is kind of his other common one. So each character has that one kind of like overpowered style sub-weapon that the game gives you a little more rarely. But every character kind of has a use, and every sub-weapon generally has some form of use, and the game even is nice to introduce them in a way, especially in the first stage where you would need it. So you saw Laxus using the chain on enemies above him, he was able to get the charm, use it on the plants and whatnot. So
Yeah, they usually do a good job of giving you the sub-weapon that is useful in that certain room.
Now, the cool thing about the magic charm is that for the more that it ticks with its damage, you could actually see the animation of the boss itself just kind of like stagger or stutter like a little bit. So it kind of like delays that little attack. And it's really nice to get as many hits of DPS in as possible in the first phase, because he's just like right there. You don't have to climb on any platforms or anything.
Yeah, what I did there on the third part of the dragon movement, when he came back down, I did jump attacks, and they double hit the boss. In this game, when you attack and jump, your attack might leave the hitbox of the enemy, and then you come back down into the hitbox, so you just hit a second time. It works with several weapons and also with some sub-weapons. It's not used super often, but in some cases it's very useful to just increase your DPS.
it's tech that was carried over from the first game too. I feel like it was probably more utilized in the first game. But it's something that when we got our hands on this, we were like, okay, can we still do this? Does it still work the same? And a lot of characters have not only their base weapons that can double hit certain enemies or certain bosses if you attack in particular ways, but above and beyond that, like Laxus mentioned, there's sub weapons that can hit not only double but multiple. There's a quick kill found recently for the stage 5 boss that will hopefully show off a little bit later, where you can basically 2-shot the boss because the way his hitbox moves, it hits like 4 times or something silly, and Axe is extremely overpowered. So yeah, it's a neat piece of tech that they left in from the first one.
Yeah, now we have our second character, Dominique. As you could probably already see, she can pogo and stuff. Oops. That's kind of unfortunate. She has a higher jump. Her spear has a little bit more range. And yeah, she has 4 different sub-weapons. Most of them are not that great, honestly.
Yeah, the first one that you start off with is like a heal, like she'll grow a plant that spawns a huge heart, and you'll be able to switch to any of your characters that might be grievously wounded in order to restore HP, which is good, but you also want more utility for those sub weapons. But that's not largely what she's all about. What the sub weapon that Laxus just picked up is pretty much the meat and potatoes.
Oh god.
Yeah, I think Dominique's biggest folly is the fact that she doesn't have anything that's really that useful on bosses. So she's great for movement. You can see the spear being put to use, and you will see it put to use quite a bit. But come battle time, she's not that handy.
Except for this boss.
Yes, the one exception to the rule where she's just amazing.
Yeah, so this game pretty much gives you an intro stage for every character where you are supposed to really use him a lot. So as you could see, I never used Zangetsu in this stage at all. This stage is really made for Dominique and her pogo, and so also the boss is made for her. This is the lightning weapon. That's the only time you see this in the run. It will hopefully make quick work of this boss. So the trick with this sub-weapon is it splits up when you shoot it at the ceiling. And because the boss moves a little bit up and down all the time, you can get multiple hits in with a single shot. It feels a bit random or very precise, but that was a decent kill.
And there's still one ghost hit we've never figured out, which she just seems to get hit just as she's going back towards the right of the room and passes center. She always seems to get this hit marker, and none of us, I don't think, have been able to actually figure out where it comes from.
Yeah, the lightning is super far away and doesn't hit, but sometimes she just gets hit anyway. I mean, we take it, but it's weird.
And hey, this is a pretty new game, so if anyone out there is also curious, maybe try to help out, join the community, figure out why that happens.
Yeah, this is a new game with a slew of new allies to outfit Zangetsu's entourage. Like, we just picked up Robert.
And we immediately switched away from him.
Now, here's the thing about Robert. We just got to get the sub-weapons to get him going. Like casually, he's not really all that bad. His main weapon is a long-range musket, deals the same amount of damage as a single normal attack from the Zangetsu. However...
No, it deals less damage.
It does?
Yeah, one less damage.
Okay. One less damage. Wow, you guys really
3
make me
instead of 4.
Okay, so he's all about the sub-weapons.
And he can crawl and
he can crawl through small crevices. Yeah, and he can wall jump. He's like half of Ryu Hayabusa.
Yeah, just not that good at anything.
I think one way this game really shines is combining movement options. Like you'll see Laxus putting the wall jumps to use here. Nice debuff.
Yeah.
But above and beyond that, you'll see later like combinations of like high jumps into double jumps. Some categories will pull out hovers and stuff like that. So there's a lot of interesting ways that you can combine movement. And I think the other neat thing is there's a lot of different ways that you can tackle a level that is exactly the same speed. So if there's something that's more your flavor, whether it be sub-weapon choice or characters, especially in normal where you can switch between characters, it provides you a little flexibility.
Okay, good start. Completely pressed the wrong buttons.
All right, and now Robert is. Oh no, back to Zangetsu. Okay.
There we go, Robert. There we go. I pressed the sub-weapon button this time.
Yeah, those long javelins have that infinite range as long as they're on the screen, instantly felling those bat-tastic foes.
I really have to improvise here now because I usually do all of this with Dominique.
So it's probably a good time, I guess, to mention how the character system works. You can see that Dominique is currently grayed out. Basically, when you lose a character, you go back to the start of the room, but there's candles that actually mark specific checkpoints as well. So if Laxus or any of us were to happen to lose all of our characters, then you end up in a situation where you actually get sent further back.
Mm. Isn't the one exception to that Legend Hunter mode, or what do you
Oh my
call it?
god.
You are correct. Legend, every death counts as a full party death in Legend.
Mm.
All right, let's do this part again. My cat is not cooperating. All right, let's do all of this again. So what I did right there was a retry. You start at the last checkpoint with all your characters. And yeah, it's better than just going on with my one character there.
Yeah, it might be worth like retrying in a situation where you've like exhausted a lot of your party's resources, like HP, weapon points, and all that stuff. Because even when one of your characters dies, like the other ones don't get refilled up to full until you spend that one life for a retry or a full party wipe.
That can make boss fights really agonizing, especially for newer players. So don't feel bad if you struggle with the bosses in this game, because I mean, systematically, every time that you retry, it's basically harder for you until you have a full party retry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only thing is that you lose your sub weapons, so depending on where you do that, it can be quite a problem. I'm low on weapon points, so this skill is, I don't know. We'll see.
Should be fine. There was a train boss in Curse of the Moon 1, and the theme returns today with Gladiator Dozer.
Gladiozer.
With his flame-in apparatus.
Well, that's unfortunate. I couldn't get the one cycle. It's one hit away, or two. One.
Oh, but now we picked up the good old sub-weapon for Robert, right?
Yeah, that is true. We picked up the big gun.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's like it's a big shot that has a large knockback, but we use the knockback to our advantage in pretty much every stage from now on, especially in the next stage.
Yeah, when Streiser was mentioning earlier about kind of like combining these different characters, movements, and sub-weapons in order to like achieve great heights or, you know, platform to a specific region, you're going to be seeing Big Gun a lot. And you're also going to be seeing this guy.
Yeah, this guy.
This is the guy that the devs flat out said in the release, before they even showed like the trailer and all that, they're like, we got the feedback this character was overpowered, and we kept it.
Because he's such a cute dog. That's the reason. That's no joke. They said that in an interview.
No, that's true. It's and you know what? Totally respectable. If you notice, he's got tiny little spike legs when he's on ice. That's actually unique to this level, and we all thought that was pretty sweet. This is literally a corgi in a mech.
It doesn't
Chat's
get
loving
any.
it.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, so the whole level has ice physics, so we can do this. We can use the knockback of the big gun to slide over the ice.
Like-
Unfortunately, only in this stage.
Oh look, Hachi is crushing spikes. That's not a great skill or anything.
Yeah, he doesn't have any ice physics.
Do you want to tell everyone about his lovely sub weapon, because he only has one?
Yeah, he only has one. That sounds weak, right? But his only sub-weapon is invincibility. So he turns it on, and as long as you have weapon points, he is completely invincible and walks through everything. That's not overpowered at all.
It's also worth mentioning, you see Laxus is going ahead and he's breaking some of these like cracked blocks. That's something that's unique to Hachi in this mode, and Ultimate Zangetsu and Miriam in other modes. But essentially, it's considered also a guard break. So not only does it have environmental purposes, but there are some bosses that have guard features. And if you hit them, even when they're unguarded, with Hachi's Punch, for example, you actually end up breaking that guard and still doing damage. So it's incredibly useful, not only for movement, but for things like this. Oof.
Yeah, and what you may have seen before is how I jumped up with Dominique, used her spear weapon to get extra height, and then used Robert's big gun to get even more height. And then there's this route.
This is
Such
where Robert
fun.
shines.
Yeah.
You know, they showed that off in the trailer too, and we were all like, we love it.
There's got to be more of it, right?
Yeah, that's the one time where you wish you had more levels with ice physics. Because this is the only level. Because this is, well, the introduction level for Hachi, and he's immune to ice physics, so totally makes sense to have ice physics everywhere.
You will be seeing more big gun tech though.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, this boss, I still don't know if this kill is any good. We pretty much just we activate the demon essence. It just gives every standard attack +1 damage, and then we just hit him. that's all we do, pretty much.
Yeah, you actually.
Doubles.
For the second phase,
Nice.
not for the first phase.
Yeah. So you might actually recognize this boss from the Ritual of the Night game if you've played that. This is Vetbar, the actual first boss from it. And you might think that the boss is done now, but exclusive to Curse of the Moon 2, they have a second form.
Guess what? The boss number 4 in Curse of the Moon 1 also had a second phase and no desperation attack. Sick, right? Okay, I'm jumping here to get double hits in again, like I talked about in the on the first boss. That was a horrible boss fight, but whatever. Here I'm gonna switch intentionally to Dominique from Robert. Usually you want to avoid additional character switches because, I mean, they take time, obviously. But every character has a different length of his victory pose. And it turns out, I just frame counted that this week, actually. Turns out that Robert's is so much longer than Dominique's that it's worth switching characters for that. All right, now we have all our characters, so the real stages begin. Now the game definitely gets a lot harder. I will totally die here.
And Zangetsu just actually got a new weapon. You guys saw Laxus picked up the Soul Blazer. So essentially this is going to power up his sub-weapons. It's going to give him a slash combo. It's going to give him an arced attack. So there's quite a bit of benefit here in terms of getting this item. And Zangetsu becomes a little more useful in normal mode once he's kind of powered up.
Yeah, and I'm so glad I got that big gun strat there, because that one is very scary. Oh my god.
These axe throwers can be quite the jerks.
Yeah, they are completely RNG, so they're not nice.
I will say this about Dom sub-weapons, you know, it's tough to use for boss fights. This game does have a single mode, which we're not going to be showing off today, but essentially lets you tackle the whole game as literally one character. And some of those characters, as you can imagine, would be quite difficult. Dominique's spear actually does a tremendous amount of damage to bosses and is usually the best case scenario. It has a very large hitbox. The damage is actually pretty significant. And it's not that pricey to use, so it's funny enough to a go-to option not only for movement for her, but when you're forced to use it in boss fights or when you're forced to fight bosses with her, it's a go-to as well.
Yeah, here we get to use a lot of invincibility. We can just pretty much walk through this room.
Not only are you destroying all the projectiles in your path, but yeah, those fish guys are gone. Goodbye.
So I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, and I didn't pick this up until today, and I'm probably just not paying attention, but those fish are skeletons of the fish that come out in the earlier levels and whatnot, when you see them popping out of the waterfalls.
Oh, in stage 3?
Yeah. It's the same sprite. It's actually a skeleton version. I didn't notice that until recently.
I didn't know that until
You learn
now.
something new every day.
Crazy.
I'm glad I could enlighten everyone with that, and it wasn't just me that missed that.
Yeah.
So touching a little bit on like how Zangetsu gets a little bit more useful when he gets the Solar Racer. Strizer mentioned a lot of the physical attacks with the main weapon. The sub weapons actually get a little bit of boost as well. Like the ball and chain or like the whip becomes like an explosive whip that actually deals 1 extra damage but has a huge radius. And the Void Charm turns into like this personal like fire tornado right in front of the enemy. Does a whole bunch of damage and has a lot of range as well.
All right, this boss is the time to shine for Robert. He does most of the work, hopefully.
Let's see those doubles.
Yeah,
Don't
let's see about that. So first, get an early hit in here. Yeah, it's unfortunately kind of random how long he takes until he gets out of the lava there. So, yeah. He took extra long this time. Nothing I could do really. It's a bit of a luck game.
Yo, nice. Bzz.
But yeah, his demon essence gets so much stronger suddenly because you have this spin slash basically. Also, just like in a lot of classic Castlevania games, you want to end on 0 weapon points. Otherwise, you waste a little bit of time at the end of the stage for it to count down.
Shout out to Brian again, because he did the math on that in terms of switching characters versus spending points. You know, when is it actually worthwhile? And I think the conclusion that he came out to was basically if you have anything more than 4 and you can burn them off, it's worth doing the character swap. But if you have less than 4, it's worth it just to basically eat the time lost from them being used.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, stage 6. This is where stuff gets real in this game. Yeah, there's a lot of enemies in this game that are pretty much in very unfortunate positions. And I hope I don't land in too many pits. This upgrade here boosts our damage of all standard attacks by 1, so it pretty much has the same effect as a active demon essence in that sense. Very useful. Oh, that was wrong.
So those candles have a lot of properties. Not only can you jump off them, but we actually figured out you can freeze them. There's no practical use for it, but it's pretty funny because I think the first time that we saw it, it happened from one room to another.
Yeah, it happened to me like through a screen transition. It was really weird. All right, this trick is kind of precise, so I hope I get it. Looks good. Perfect.
Love it.
Yeah, it's such a good strat.
One of my favorites in the game.
And let's do one more big gun, just because why not? So the previous one, the problem is when you switch to Hachi's hover, we didn't even talk about him having a hover, but because he's OP, he also has to have a hover. You only can activate that when you are on the height of your jump. So even when I switch characters to him, I have to switch before I reach the peak of my jump. Otherwise, I will just not activate the hover and fall down.
That was a big pain point for, I think, not only us, but a lot of other players, and both casually and runners, because if you've ever played something like a Mario game or anything where you're like regulating jump height, it just seems really odd not to be able to trigger it with an additional button press. So it was kind of one of those things that took getting used to, but we found again, really clever ways to combine it.
In my casual playthrough, I died so often to failed Hachi hovers. And pretty much everyone did.
And unintentional ones, until we actually figured it out. Unintentional hovers that would kill you.
Yeah, both happened a lot. Okay, this is the worst boss ever. That's all I want to say about it. You can tell more about it.
Do you want to go, Bobby, or should I?
Yeah, sure. So this is Titan. As you can see, there's more than the boss that you have to face. There's a whole bunch of traps and all of these different projectiles that come right at you. And the only way to damage Titan Kamoon is like in the upper torso. So you kind of have to wait for these pillars to rise out from the sands in order to get really good hits. But this is actually pretty good for life.
That is a beautiful path.
That wasn't too bad. Not the optimal one, but it was pretty good.
Yeah. So when it comes to like the RNG and like the patterns of Titan Kamoon and what other factors like the order of which and the position of which the pillars kind of like rise up for the first rotation, you can get decent.
The pillars are completely fixed. It's just his movement.
So all right, just the movement then, but it's still completely easy to get desynced.
Yeah, and when he's just too far away from you, then well, bad luck. Gotta wait.
So on to 7.
Yeah, that's 7, the stage.
Yeah. I think one of the big criticisms that I had of the game was that like the early game felt so polished, and then we got to the end game and there were some things that seemed a little less fleshed out. The big thing that you'll see in 7 is the ongoing theme is the gears. So a la Castlevania Clock Tower, etc. You're going to see the same thing here. The one thing that you're going to notice is there's a lot of these gears that have very wide gaps, and some of them move really slow. So it's a dicey point for any characters. If you happen to, for example, lose Hachi and you don't have hover, obviously it's a lot more treacherous. And then above and beyond that, if you're dealing with like only one character like Dom that has a higher than normal jump, good luck to you. Same thing in the other cases. If you don't have Dom or you don't have someone to hover with, there are some jumps that are near impossible to make with a regular jump.
Yeah, another thing we didn't talk about before is these platforms are on a global timer from start of the stage. And we had the same thing with the room in stage 3, and I could have made that. Could have gotten the early cycle, but let's play it safe. So you want to get to this room at a specific point to make a specific cycle. Otherwise, you lose like 7 seconds, I think, in this room just from the cycle. So a lot of the movement in the whole stage has to be good. Otherwise, you just lose a lot of time. Okay, I need to focus on this room. Most important room. Perfect.
Ooh, great.
Nice.
That's a fairly new strat too.
Yeah, that saves a lot of time from not having to do a very awful room to the right, with a lot of vertical movement on these slow-moving platforms. It's pretty precise. Doing that trick without the damage boost that I took is pixel perfect. But setting up the frogs in a way that I can get this damage boost up there makes it a lot more consistent. But you have to be consistent throughout the whole room, so you know where your frogs are.
We've seen this boss before.
Yeah, we might have.
So for no reason at all, and I do actually literally mean no reason at all, it is never explained why or how or for what reason this occurs. Gremory's back, and the fight is exactly the same as number 1. There's no story tie-in or anything like that. There's nothing that brings this character back. They just reutilize the fight, which, take from it what you will. I mean, I guess it's knowledge that we all had when we saw it.
Hey, that's like the first time in forever that I dodged this desperation attack.
Yeah, Gremory didn't do that in the first game.
I don't think
I mean, it was an attack in her second phase in the first game, so...
Yeah, but she didn't seismic toss from Pokemon the moon to you, okay?
That's true. Also, we didn't talk about desperation attacks at all. Every boss besides stage 4 boss does this attack at the end after he's dead. Those attacks don't actually kill you unless you're playing on legend difficulty, but why would anyone do that?
Or boss rush.
Oh yeah, and boss rush, that's true. Only thing that happens is if you dodge them completely, you get a 1-up, I think.
You do, yeah.
At least that's how it was in the first game.
In this case, it's actually, I think they replaced, to be precise, they replaced the direct 1-up with points. And the way this game actually works is it takes more points to gain a free life the more lives you have. So the more desperate you are, the more the game is actually going to be flinging free lives at you via points, where if you get up to a place like Lax's is now, even with 5, like that bar is barely going to move.
Yeah, that's true. No! Damn it. Well, let's see what happens, I guess.
Not that he's not overpowered enough, but Hachi also has reduced knockback.
Oh yeah, he has everything. Okay, that kind of worked.
I would say very much a hard thing about a run like this is tackling a no reset, because what ends up happening is you end up in a situation where if you lose a character, you then have to improvise. And depending on how you practice, I mean, majority of us, if we have a run that's going to die or takes a death, I mean, we're most of us to the point where we would reset over that. It takes a lot of improv to then come back from that. And it's always the debate on whether or not taking the retry and getting your party back is worthwhile versus just forging ahead.
I couldn't do the new strat that I saw on Discord because Robert is dead. Damn it. Why did I jump here? Yeah, in the previous room, I was wondering, well, how do I do this now without Robert? And then I remembered I don't even use Robert for that room.
But the panic immediately goes there because he's gone.
Yeah. And also my character switches are all messed up because there's one dead character that I can't switch to.
Also, something to note about Hachi as well, if you played the first one, Jeeble, essentially in the first one, anytime he would destroy a sub-weapon candle, which is the purple color, they did a great job, by the way, distinguishing candle colors. You can see the health and the purple for the weapon points, as well as the sub-weapon candle all in that one spot. Basically what they did is, instead of giving 5 weapon points similar to Jeeble in the first one, they toned it down a little and they gave it 3. So I guess maybe they felt we were abusing that, and it was too strong to get 5 weapon points all the time, so they dropped that down to 3 little ones.
All right, secret area. I normally would go here, but I have to revive Robert. Yeah, this sub weapon just revives everyone and gives them 50% health, something like that.
Yeah, it was really great knowing that this secret room was even here way before, you know, Captain Brian brought out the trainer, or even for, like, you know, for people who are practicing on console. The technology that was like kind of like drafted and routed out for like final boss like took a pretty extensive amount of time for both styles.
Yeah, that is true. So this boss also has 2 phases. He's a bit of a pushover because the first phase has a super easy exploit, actually. So he will leave the screen now and then comes back from the left. The problem for him is he can't turn around. So you go behind him and he does nothing.
Oh my god, he's Zoolander. He can't turn left.
Yeah. It's a bit of a shame that they forgot to implement that, but I mean, better for us. And the second phase, I mean, it's even more stupid in the speedrun, actually. So, Robert is the star here. I hope I don't mess this up now.
I believe.
Okay, we killed the boss. I just hold the shoot button right now. So this is his rapid fire sub weapon. It's the only time we use it. So when you activate it, it slowly drains your weapon points and time, by the way. Almost forgot about that. Thanks. So it slowly drains your weapon points, and if you hold the shoot button, then he shoots faster than normally. It's actually faster to mash the button. You would save like a second on this fight, but I hate mashing and I'm bad at it, so I don't do it. But yeah, doing this also saves like 15 or 20 seconds from him not doing a special attack when he's under a certain threshold of life, because he just dies before you can start the attack. So the final boss is pretty much one of the easiest bosses in the speedrun. The stage and like actually the last 3 or 4 stages are kind of tough, honestly. So it's nice that at least the end is pretty simple.
There's a clear-cut difference between first 4 and last 4. Let's say that. You hit stage 5 and you feel the difference immediately.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, I guess apart from that disaster that was stage 3, was a decent run.
Yeah, around 36 and a half minutes.
Yeah, that's not so decent, but
You know, it's fine.
it's okay.
You did well.
Yeah,
You made a lot of cool strats. Like, you got a lot of big gun strats, which was sweet. You got...
Yeah, missed one big gun strat, unfortunately. Stage 8. But yeah, apart from that, I at least hit the harder stuff.
And while we have these credits playing here, Laxus, I do have a couple questions for you. What are some other things that you run, and you know, what made you want to run this game a few months ago when it came out?
Well, the main reason I got to this game was that I run Curse of the Moon 1. It's pretty much my favorite speedrun. I spent a lot of time with that game, probably more than anyone else. And obviously, that made me check out Curse of the Moon 2. I personally prefer the first one, but this one is also a fun speedrun, and I mean it has more content, more variability, so that's nice. Apart from that, I run a few NES games, mainly. Currently working on Kid Icarus. Played other games like Ghosts and Goblins on the NES, Ninja Gaiden, yeah, stuff like that.
Very cool. Laxus, do you have any other shout-outs that you want to give?
I want to shout out again Captain Brian, because he did so much for the Bloodstained community. I talked about it before I started my run with the trainer he made, the auto trackers he made for all Bloodstained games. He put a lot of work into this, and yeah, we can't thank him enough, actually.
All right. Sounds good. And before we get to the next run, everyone, again, I want to remind everyone that this is Testing Grounds, a show where we like to show off new games, and we're actually going to be showing episode 2 next, featuring the Blacktastic, who is just commentating this run. I just want to remind everyone we're going to have a quick ad break. We appreciate everyone staying with us through those ad breaks, and if you would like to support us by subbing as well, remember, if anyone has Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming, which means you can get a free sub every month to the channel of your choice, and you can get some cool emotes like the GDQ lamp emote if you subscribe. And just also want to remind everyone that tomorrow is the mystery tournament that's starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, so you can see runners blind racing a series of games tomorrow. And with that, we're going to go to a quick break while we get the Blacktastic set up, and we will be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Testing Grounds, a show about showcasing off new games. And we just saw episode 1 of Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2, and we're going to be following that up with episode 2 by the Blacktastic. Before I get into that, I actually want to talk about a couple announcements that we have coming up here. So we have the mystery tournament tomorrow starting at 3 p.m. Eastern with a bunch of blind races, so be sure to check that out. And to learn about all of our Hotfix shows, you can go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. We're actually looking for a new show this upcoming November on Wednesdays. So if you're free on Wednesday evenings and have an idea for a Hotfix show, feel free to email hotfix@gamesdonequick.com. And with that, Bobby, how are you doing?
Doing pretty okay. Well, now that the spotlight's on me, especially since we're playing an entirely different category. Well, this is Testing Grounds, right?
Yeah.
How's it going, everyone? I'm the Blacktastic. You could just call me Bobby. And joined with me are commentators and fellow runners of Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2, Laxus and Strizer. If you want to introduce yourselves.
Hi.
Well, that was Laxus. I'm Strizer.
I talked enough before, right?
For anyone that may be joining us, Laxus just graced us with an amazing normal mode run of episode 1, and Bobby's gonna bring us home, or I guess bring us on with episode 2, and I'll bring us home afterwards.
With good old episode EX. So we're not gonna be doing the normal Zangetsu type because I honestly think that's boring, and we're gonna be doing ultimate. I sorry. But we all know about
objectively correct.
Yeah. Look, we all know about Ultimate Katana Daddy. Not only does he have all of the not basic, but souped up sub weapons as he does when he gets the Solar Racer in episode 1, but he gets a lot of ultimate moves that he got from Curse of the Moon, 1 as well. So I'm gonna be counting off. Say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Started a little bit late. It's fine.
I
But
thought
holy-
you would just not use your
holy-
dash.
He can run. He can run. My boy is free. My boy is free. No, I just had to like tease the chat a little bit. Like, what do you mean he's souped up? No, this is how we're talking about souped up Katana Daddy. Anyways, so he has a run, he has a double jump, he has the crescent slash, and he has this thing, an ultimate charge slash that deals a quite a massive amount of damage to some foes. As you can see, like in episode 2, we actually start off with Robert and Hachi at our sides. This is a direct continuation from episode 1. If you guys weren't paying attention, basically, before Mephisto, who was going to interfere and kill us all after we beat the last boss of episode 1, before he could do his thing, Dominique kind of sacrificed herself for the good of the party, the greater good, and so we don't have her anymore. But you know, strengthened with resolve and the need to save a newfound friend, we're back in it again.
Do you mind if I cover off the good and bad ending so we can get that out of the way now?
Go for it.
All right. So episode 2 basically has 2 different endings, which will lead to 2 different modes depending on how you play this out. Normally, you would be playing episode 2 as normal Zangetsu first, so it makes a little more sense because the story points don't actually impact Ultimate Zangetsu. But basically, what happens is you come into episode 2 as a continuation of 1 with the Soul Blazer. You collect 3 additional swords. You think it's an upgrade, and it's actually a downgrade. You have to complete the game with a weakened, more they call it static Zangetsu, and in order to get the good end and unlock the final episode. Otherwise, you get the bad end and you unlock episode X. So that's essentially the gist of it. You hope to get an upgrade, and it's actually a disappointment.
That felt so bad on the first casual play.
Yeah,
I thought
episode
that game
2.
was like broken.
Episode
you
2
get-
was an insanely big hurdle. Like,
Yeah,
for a lot of
you
us.
get downgraded, you have one less character because you don't have Dominique, and the bosses get harder. Like, as you may have seen, it took quite a bit longer until he killed the boss because he has more health and he has more and harder attack patterns. So it's quite a bit harder in that regard.
Yeah, a lot of the bosses will like maneuver like extremely quickly, deal souped up damage, and yeah, like from episode 2 onwards, they will have that increased HP pool. So, which is a reason why I decided to pick up the Demon Essence in stage 1, which you're not usually able to in the normal modes because you don't have the right people to slide through those small crevices. But I will say for episode 2 Ultimate, a lot of this I did like kind of like route by myself. A lot of this boss strategies and everything I kind of like took from everyone else's like runs in their respective categories and try to like doctor one together. But there's still a lot of improvements. I mean, I'm like for right now I'm the only like time on the board with like a recorded time. I don't know if anyone else is working on episode 2 Ultimate, but like it's an insanely daunting category, especially for like the future bosses and the stages in the mid game, because again, like you have to figure out different ways to maneuver with just Robert and Hachi, which they pretty much can on their on their own, like with double jump big gun right here. But I had only figured out or incorporated the big gun strats like a week and a half ago.
Or as you could have seen like a few rooms back where he used Zangetsu's jump into a wall jump from Robert, then switching back to Zangetsu for to use his double jump to get up higher. You can get pretty creative with some of these character switches and how you use them.
Mm-hmm. And unlike using the like other characters to kind of like traverse around like Laxus did, this is Ultimate Zangetsu. Like this is like one of the main ways that you're going to be wanting to platform throughout the stage. You do have that run. Not really anyone else has it.
Yeah, you really only want to switch away from Zangetsu when it's really necessary. Otherwise, his dash is just too good.
So you trying to kind of carry this demon essence on over from stage 1, because there's not really a conventional area in stage 2, or I don't think you can get it in stage 2 at all, at least with the route that I take. So what I'm trying to do is like trying to double hit the kind of like method that you've seen Laxus do before, when I kind of move in and out of the hitbox of Lubius to get those double hits. And also, since the demon essence is active, you get, you know, those +1 damage ticks to every attack. So I used to use magic charm or void charm because it's a souped up, you know, and has an immense amount of range, but I just found this to be like a little bit better. Thank you.
To answer the question in chat, you can also get Ultimate Zangetsu for Chapter 1, but not for your first play. You have to unlock Ultimate Mode. It's after you beat Episode 4, I think, or final episode. You unlock the ability to choose Ultimate Mode or Static Mode. Not that anyone would ever want to use Static Mode, but you can.
I mean,
But yeah,
again, the Castlevania 1 NES purist in them, you know, might find something to like with Static Zangetsu, but for, you know, wanting to go fast and for the amount of, you know, options that it's, you know, that you're given with not only ultimate abilities and movement, but conjoining that with the sub-weapons and abilities of your fellow allies, like, it makes for a really smooth run. This is actually a pretty scary stage right here because of the global timer logs.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about in my run in stage 7. I think this room is on a global timer, so you always have to watch out how you do the rest of the stage leading up to it, otherwise you might have to wait a few seconds.
If you didn't pick up the demon essence in either of the stages before, the candle above me has a demon essence, and one of the candles at the at the screen before the boss has a demon essence as well. If you kind of notice, I'm really low on weapon points. Like, I decided to not, you know, deviate from the standard path to pick up any MP or weapon point ups. Because they're a bit scattered throughout the different modes in the game. Like, they may not necessarily be in the same place.
Yeah, but as Ultimate Zangetsu, in general, you don't need as many weapon points, because, I mean, you see it, he's pretty strong, and especially with Demon Essence, which is pretty overpowered in many places. It's not as good as the sub-weapon from Ninja Gaiden 1, which it very much resembles, but so it doesn't kill everything in one frame, but it's pretty strong anyway.
What a good boy. See, coming up in stage 4 could be a couple of slight optimizations. You could opt to take, you know, damage on these upcoming golems up next, but like when routing out this game, especially for like ultimate categories and like just like how the game punishes you when you fail or die, it's just like a little bit easier to just kind of like keep it as topped up on your HP as possible, and you know.
It's worth noting as well, like, we went through a lot of back and forth with actual routes, because not only is it whether or not the route's actually faster, but then you get into the debate on whether or not upgrades are worthwhile. So, you know, is it worth taking the faster route in this stage and not getting the WP up and going the rest of it, you know, without the extra 10? So it goes above and beyond just the immediacy, but that's, I think, a lot of the fun of it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this game has a lot of alternative paths. Like, as you see here, this is a like completely different one than what I did in my run before. It just depends a lot on what characters you have at your disposal. We will see more of that with Strider's run after this.
Yeah, that seems like it had to have been pretty cool as you were, playing the game casually, going into actually routing the game, that there's just a lot of different options for you, and it's not super clear what's best right away.
Yeah, it's quite not super clear, especially like in Curse of the Moon 1, where you see like the little like pointing skeletons. Like they would usually point you to like the more like direct path if you could possibly take it. A lot of the kind of like places where the skeletons kind of point, they might, it might bode well for like a weapon upgrade, like a weapon point upgrade or an HP upgrade, but it might not necessarily be the fastest, most direct route.
Yeah,
I've never seen that previous room with fire, by the way.
That's only in episode 2. I have no clue why. I was
equally confused. I was like, why was there fire in that room?
Yeah, I was confused as well when I first saw it. I don't know. Like, it's not like the fire is doing anything. It's just there in episode 2.
I thought he got switched to legend difficulty for a moment.
The permafire on the permafrost.
No, we leave that for you. So legend difficulty is a mode they added, I don't know, like a month after game release, and it's a harder difficulty. You take more damage. You have additional enemies in pretty much every room. So some rooms are pretty ridiculous. Yeah, it's not a fun difficulty.
Oopsie. There we go.
I love the face at the end of that fight.
Yeah.
I just like how there's a second phase. Like Indie Creates kind of had like a lot more creativity, and we were able to kind of like run with that when we were mentioning a little bit earlier about like the stage 4 bosses having like second forms. Valak, the twin dragon in Ritual of the Night, doesn't have a second form. It's just pretty static. But Indie Creates made it extremely cool.
It's worth noting too, like this game took all of us by surprise. Like there was no talk of it, and then all of a sudden they like had a little stream and showed a release trailer, and it said it was coming soon, and they'd apparently been working on it for 6 months. So it's like, oh cool, we hadn't heard about it. They showed it off. They showed off all of stage 1 in normal mode, and we were all like, okay, looks like it's built on the same engine as expected. But the crazy thing was they said that it's like, oh, coming soon, which we know can mean a lot of things in the gaming community. I think it was like within a week, they're like, oh yeah, it's coming out in like 2 weeks.
Yep. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, like I heard something along the line, as soon as as soon as the Ritual of the Night release, like Indie Creates got to work on the Curse of the Moon 2, which was like incredibly astounding, because the first Curse of the Moon game was like as featured packed as it was, and as out of left field that it came out, or that it came from, was only developed in 6 months, like a little under half a year.
Wow. With an abrupt release like that, were the three of you involved in any other like speedrun projects or anything that you maybe cut short because you wanted to play this?
I was very glad that I had not opted into, I usually do a Castlevania month, typically once a year at some random point in the year, and everyone was kind of like, oh, it's getting towards the end of the year, or sorry, it's getting later in the year, we should do it, because you usually do it earlier in the year. And I almost pulled the trigger on it, and then all of a sudden they dropped the trailer saying coming soon, and I'm just like, I can't commit a month to something that I'm immediately going to toss out the window when this drops, because when the first game came out, all of us just poured everything into it. Like I know myself at the time, I was putting in 8-hour days, and it was exciting to get up and look at the Discord and see what people overseas had come up with. And we very much kind of taught each other, and it was a daily collaborative effort. And Bobby was actually a little bit later to the game, but it was cool because it extended the life of Curse of the Moon 1. It kept some eyes and attention on it, which was great. He found new stuff, and he very deservingly broke my records that had stood for a period of time, which I thought it was excellent, because there'd been a great presence in the ultimate categories for one, and then he kind of revived that after the fact, which was nice to see. So I think all of us, like, I would use the word giddy. Like we saw that it was coming, and then we saw that it was coming within a couple weeks, and the Discord exploded.
That's awesome.
I think it was like the calm before the storm was when Nintendo did it's like indie game showcase announcement trailers and all that stuff, and we saw Curse of the Moon. We were all hyped for that. The calm before the storm was like between that and like when we saw like the release date like leaked on like the eShop or like Steam or like something like that. And it's like, all right, a lot of us like conferred and we were just like, all right, how are we gonna be able to like handle like all of this? Because a lot of people throughout Curse of the Moon 1's like height of activity, peak of activity, what you say, like was filled with so many like new runners and like old veteran Castlevania runners alike. So if like we were expecting like a whole slew of like people to just like hop in on it, and most notably a lot did. All right, I'm going to be trying to do like a new strat. Like these are like new strats that I've like tried to incorporate from like the Bloodstained speedrun Discord and like all that. But Demoness is extremely powerful through all of this.
To speak to how dedicated the community is, it's worth noting that the second that first stream happened and the trailer dropped, we were actively picking apart what we saw in it, out of bounds. Like we were like, okay, out of bounds worked this way in the first one. Could we do it this way? Like before we even knew there was a release date coming soon, like we were already completely into it going, what about this? What about this? And like, this is what the pogo height looks like. Could you get here with that?
You're just going frame by frame, seeing, oh, how fast can I go? How high can I go?
Yeah, we were even
Pretty
like
much,
talking.
yeah.
We were even talking about like the exploits that we were trying to hopefully incorporate in Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2 from 1. Like in Curse of the Moon 1, doors don't exist necessarily. You can use added height from Miriam's jump in order to just kind of vault over that door barrier, which saves about a handful of seconds.
Floors also don't exist.
Yeah, and the good side of things, they patched stairs because old stairs in Curse of the Moon 1 had a very, very bad knack for you to just fall through them, even if you were holding up. But they got rid of the out of bounds, and I don't think it necessarily hurt the game. To be honest, I think that was a good move, and I'm glad they didn't patch it at the first one. But I can understand why they revised it for the second one. But above and beyond that, they actually left in some really cool tech from the first one, which I'm not going to spoil, but you're going to see in a little bit.
Oh yeah, the best tech actually.
I was so excited. Like when it worked, I was like, yes, this is going to make the category exciting.
Yeah, you could finally learn how to use them, right?
Yeah. It was previous to a category that I basically played once on a whim in Curse of the Moon 1, and Laxus is very much the expert in. So he was very excited when he saw me labbing that out for episode X. And he helped, so like full credit. He definitely made suggestions and helped along the process to make it easier.
Yeah, that was definitely fun. But we will get to that after this run.
Yeah, does anyone else want to get into how much more annoying Titan Kamun is in episode 2?
Yeah, in episode 2, like, you see there's like double the amount of projectiles on the screen. It is actually pretty awful.
Look at that.
Luckily, with Ultimate Zangetsu, it's not as bad because you can jump very far with your double jump. So even if he gives you a bad pattern and goes far away, you can reach him a lot better. But this boss, in our casual playthrough of episode 2, I know Bobby rage quit on this boss. And I was questioning myself as well.
I definitely whether or not I wanted to play this game anymore. When I played episode 2 level 6 boss the first time in normal mode, oh man, like I was like, do I even want to see what the end of this is like?
Yeah,
I don't know if people like tuned into like my like blind playthrough of episode 2, but I rage quit the stream. I was like, I am completely done after this. Like this is this is completely just
That was pretty rough.
Summarize it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to deal with all of the extra things that they put on screen, and like, I'm not even sure if we mentioned the lightning. Like, we listed so many extra things that's going on in that fight in such a short period of time. I think we counted it at one point, and at any given time, there can be like 14 things attacking you or something silly. Yeah. So.
Yeah, there can be like there's 6 of these arrow shooters that each shoot 2 arrows, and then there's these 2 sickle-like things. So yeah, 14 things on screen that you have to dodge, and at the same time try to get hits in on the boss. And then also lightning comes from the sky on the platform you stand on. So that's really no downtime or any way to avoid that stuff.
I totally trained my eyes to watch 14 things at once, guaranteed. Oh, God.
Here goes Monka 2, and I did not come in on a correct global at all. So we're gonna try to like work through it again. Like platforming in these stages, especially in stage 7, is made really like a lot easier with Ultimate Zangetsu, but the dash jumps and the double jumps can be a little bit, unwieldy at times. So you gotta really be careful about positioning, or else you might get damaged by a frog into a pit or something.
I always get hit by that same frog. Don't feel bad.
And here's the thing, and here's the sad thing, and here's the thing about testing ground. I need to know how to get up there, because you don't have Dominique. You don't have that nice super jump magic lance. I have a double jump. I got a big gun, and I was kind of figuring that you could probably damage boost off of a random frog or something, but like that's so risky. If I could just find something that's consistent, then this category would be a lot.
You heard it here. If you want to help Bobby out, come join the Discord, learn the game, try to help him out.
Because then you have to do this climb, and like, I mean, it's fine with ultimate characters with double jumping. Whoop, that's not big gun. That's big gun.
We used to do this on normal though. Like, this used to be the route on normal.
Horrible. Yeah. And you fall down and you lose another 30 seconds, and it's awful.
All right, let's try not to.
Yes, you can do co-op speedruns, and I think they can totally be a lot of fun, and they can go for their own strats, because you can jump off of each other, so you can more easily reach higher, and probably also do some shenanigans on boss fights, but so far there hasn't been any co-op speedruns, unfortunately. But yeah, that's totally a thing.
Honestly, I can't wait to see some like really sick 2-player speedruns, because above and beyond just like being able to ride different characters and how they interact, there's even like I don't know how to describe it. One player basically goes into like a little I don't know, call it a ferry or some form of like little thing, but you can basically teleport to your partner character or whatever. So there's a neat kind of mix and match mentality you could have as to when 2 players could be beneficial, but when you could also, I don't know if I'm thinking like Chip and Dale, like the balloon situation, something like that.
Guys, is it safe to come out now?
No, better stay there. As long as it stays under there, the stage doesn't end.
Okay.
I mean, he looks like he's home.
So that's another thing that kind of needs a little bit more refining too. Like, I'm really torn on between using like the magic charm and the demon essence, because like there's a lot of ample opportunity for double hits, but you got to read the Gremory pattern, and she does an incredibly massive amount of damage in episode 2.
Interesting to note too is, although the swarm in episode 2 visually looks different, it's not any different. The patterns are exactly the same. They just gave her like chonkier bugs.
Yeah, it just looks worse. I don't know.
Yeah, it does look worse.
Ooh, I got the stair boost. Hell, let's go.
I wasn't sure if that was on purpose.
That's definitely on purpose, or else like I'm like there's no like double jump big gunning or anything like that.
Yeah. So on episode 2, this last stage is a bit different because you don't have this swarm constantly chasing you, but instead you have a lot of enemies or more enemies in different places.
Yeah, you'd have the little like locusts or termites or whatever you want to call them like here, but we're just gonna do the whole abusing Hachi being a tank thing.
Yeah, if he would have taken those damage boosts with any other character, he would have landed in a pit on all of these damage boosts.
Here's something that I could also use some help with. This is climb 1, and it hurts a lot, but I found that since you don't have termites in these little indents, you can weave yourself in between them. But I'm sure there could be like a way faster way around that, more optimized path.
Funny enough, I saw that demonstrated in X2, and I don't know if it's necessarily faster. I feel like it's faster than a conservative normal climb, but if you're going to be aggressive on the normal climb, you're still going to outpace the side strats. This is kind of where my mind is right now.
But it looks better.
It's pretty cool. I like it. Like, you're just jumping into these little gaps, and it's just like, hey, I can jump into the wall and off of it for some reason.
All right, but now climb 2 is also probably using help. Like again,
Yeah,
you don't have
remember when
Dominique.
I had Dominique and just used his spear to get up everywhere? Nice.
Incredible.
I respect the retry here.
Incredible. This is ultimate katana daddy. I'm not leaving him behind.
I mean, you could have just switched to someone else to kill.
You wanted to just show how fast you could fly off screen, and I respect that.
And
You're
boy,
just
can he.
testing that, yeah.
This is the testing grounds. All right. Bad thing about this is that I lost a big gun because I retried. However, a little backup. You can always double jump, wall jump, and then go into Hachi in order to like fix yourself. And
It's a reverse hover. Like, let's it's swaggy too.
The
He's
back
hovering
drift
back.
technology.
Oh, the left door.
Oh yeah. So you killed Abaddon. So we get to face one of the head honchos. But I need everything here. There we go. And again, like there could be a faster strat out there than mine for Mephisto. And quite oddly, this looks like exactly the Ritual of the Night save room. This guy also has 2 forms. Well, forms.
This is basically where your good end, bad end is going to pan out. If you've gone ahead and you've gotten the 3 swords, which give you the nerf Zangetsu, basically you win this fight and you save Dominique. And bad end, well, you don't actually even, well, we'll wait and see.
And this phase is horrible in the in the good ending. When you
It's
downgrade.
Good pattern, yes.
Yeah, he has 2 different attacks. The other attack is like these 3 really big beams, which he doesn't use now. That's very nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I appreciate
that
that swap.
Oh my god.
Time is going to be in 3, 2, 1. Sorry, time.
GG.
So yeah, this is basically the bad ending. What happens is you reminisce about everything that happened in episode 1, and Zangetsu can't bring himself to do it, and you lop off an arm.
Yep, you didn't collect. Yeah, getting the good ending, you have to kind of go off the beaten path, and that was a little bit what I was trying to get into with the diverting paths and all that. But if you wanted to go straightforward, then you get bad ending. That's what you get. But yeah, that's it. Like again, like I'm trying to like optimize like a lot of the fights, and especially like a lot of like the platforming in stages 7. There's that huge like if we can skip that climb room in episode 2 ultimate, it would save a considerable amount of time. And then also maneuvering on both climbs and stage 8, like I know a lot could be perfected in that. So if you folks like what you see so far, or if you were a potential speedrunner of Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, then I implore that you head on over to the Bloodstained Speedruns Discord, confer with us, and let's compare notes.
Yeah, and before we get to this break, Bobby, is there anything else you want to tell the audience about you? Where can people find you? You know, what projects do you have coming up?
So I'm the Blacktastic, as you can see on the screen. You can follow me there or anywhere on those social medias. I will be the Blacktastic. I do a whole bunch of Bloodstained and Castlevania speedruns. We're currently doing Rondo of Blood. And then you also might have seen me yesterday as part of Super Boss Brothers, the new GDQ Hotfix show that me and Big John host, where we bring on two people and they're pitted against each other in a myriad of challenges. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of like Lunar Pool and Sonic 2. It was a blast. Like if you haven't watched the VOD, please watch the VOD. But our next session is going to be on September 25th, so I implore that you visit us there.
Yeah, every other Friday. So be sure to check out that Hotfix show. And if you're interested in other Hotfix shows, you can go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. From there, you can learn about all the different shows we have going on in between all of the different events that have been going on. And you can also submit your own ideas for Hotfix shows, especially for every other Wednesday starting in November. If you have a show idea, you can submit that to hotfix@gamesdonequick.com. And with that, we're going to take a quick break here as we go towards our last run of the night. We're going to be having Strizer. We saw episode 1 and we saw episode 2. Next, we're going to see episode X. Going to be run by Strizer. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Testing Grounds. This is the last run of the night on Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. So before we get started here, I just want to have a couple quick announcements. We have an online all-women speedrunning event. Frame Fatales returning with another event on November 15th of this year, Fleet Fatales. Game submissions are open for the rest of tonight. They were open a few weeks ago until the end of the night. So go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more info on that. And the next date will be the game schedule being released on October 14th. So stay tuned for that. Also, if you are interested in watching any of the past runs, you can visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. From there, you can see all of the GDQ VODs as well as Hotfix VODs. So you can check out all of that, and feel free to tweet at us at gamesdonequick to tell us what you're interested in. And with that said, we just saw episode 1 and episode 2 from Laxus and Bobby, and we're going to be having Strizer here with episode X. Strizer, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for running. Take it away.
So yeah, episode X. Basically, we can kick it off pretty quickly. You're going to see similar play to Bobby doing episode 2. We are going to be playing Ultimate Mode Zangetsu on Veteran. Episode X is basically the direct continuation of the bad ending that you saw. And I'm going to have Flaxus and Bobby to help commentate as well. The one major difference that you're going to see is we are going to be playing with Curse of the Moon 1 characters. All of the same sub-weapons, all of the same abilities. So yeah, I will give you guys a countdown. And 3, 2, 1, go.
I think it's also really interesting that the stage names change with every episode.
Yeah, and then there's even a stage 1 music change, which I actually don't think we noted and we didn't mention before now. But episode 1 has different stage 1 music than episode X, and I believe episode 2, if I'm not mistaken. Do you have the revised soundtrack, Bobby? In episode 2, do you get the different stage 1?
Yeah, we both get the same stage 1.
Nice. So yeah, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a different path than Bobby. I have Miriam. I do have the ability to crawl, or in this case, slide. But I'm going to be taking a little bit of a different path, and I'm going to be setting up for something that we can hopefully show off in all its glory. If you guys remember a moment ago, we were talking about that tech from the first game that actually did squeak its way into the second game. We call it Icicle. Laxus, do you want to give us the lowdown on Icicle and how it works?
Yeah, sure. So Miriam has a sub-weapon, her sickle. You can throw 2 of them at the same time. They go to the end of the screen and then in a straight line and then return to you. But actually you can freeze them with Alfred's Ice Spell. Alfred's Ice Spell is pretty broken in itself because it freezes everything. But it's a very interesting interaction with the sickle. It's a bug that was already in Curse of the Moon 1, but it didn't get fixed. So you freeze a sickle while it's over the boss hitbox, and after some time, the sickle begins to blink to show that it's about to unfreeze. And during these 3 seconds, it regains its hitbox and deals damage every few frames for a total of 23 hits over 3 seconds. And doing that with 2 sickles means 46 hits, and that pretty much melts the boss hitbox, as you can see there.
Yeah, what I love about X is not only do we get to start the category with that, but it's not going to be the first instance of it that you see. And I think it's really neat because in the first game, every boss came down to Ice Axe. Ice would do double damage, Axe did 25, 50 damage, which is basically 10 normal swings of your sword. We were in heaven. For every boss, it worked. They actually did a few things. They buffed Alfred's Thunder Lightning the way that it works. They made it cost 15, so you can't cast it individually anymore. You used to be able to cast it, I believe, for 5 and do like a single ball of lightning, but now you just do 3 for 15. They did increase its attack power, which kind of blew us all away because it was pretty OP in the first game, and the only reason it didn't get used is actually because it was just so far off the beaten path in most cases. But they also nerfed Ice Axe. Like, they actively nerfed it. There's a lot of bosses that you try that combo and it just does piddly amounts of damage. And even the axe in general, they kind of did that too.
Yeah, they knew, and they actually even explicit. Oh yeah, I can't speak. They even stated that they knew it was too strong, so they nerfed it. And like in Curse of the Moon 1, there was only one category pretty much that didn't use Ice Axe everywhere, and that was Nightmare Mode, because you used the sickle for out of bounds tricks. So in this game you have a lot more variety on boss strats, which is pretty cool, I think. Makes a lot more fun than just doing the same combo over and over and every boss just dies.
Yeah, the diversity part of it's definitely neat. It adds a little bit of extra flavor. It added some thought process as opposed to just, what do we do for this one? Well, you use Ice Axe. What else would you do?
So yeah, talking about the characters, for those who don't know them from Curse of the Moon 1, Miriam has a high jump like Dominique. She's in general kinda a lot of similarities to Dominique. With the high jump, she has a longer range attack. She also has her slide, but she has better sub weapons than Dominique has, which is a really big advantage. Then we have Alfred. His sub weapons are just really, really good. I think they're pretty much the best sub weapons in the whole game. Don't use him to attack physically. That is not a good idea. But as you can see, his lightning just melts this boss completely. It deals so much damage. It's insane. Then, like I said before, his ice spell is really good because it literally freezes everything, including bosses, and everything that is not a boss dies in one hit when it's frozen.
Almost everything. There's one thing that doesn't get frozen.
Wait, what doesn't get frozen?
Stage 7.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, you can kill them before.
Can you?
Yeah. You have
out and turn invincible?
So, what Strider is talking about, the mechs in stage 7, they have similar mechs to Hachi. And if you try to freeze them, after a very short time, they break the freeze and they turn invincible for like, I don't know, 3-4 seconds or something.
Time.
Yeah, really long time. But you can actually, if you hit them immediately after you freeze them, you can still kill them.
Nice.
But it feels really weird how they give you ice all the time in these rooms. Then you use it and they just turn invincible. It's not fun.
It's kind of like a bait and switch scenario for sure.
Yeah. And then the last character we have is G-Bell. I mean, you can just call him Alucard.
That's definitely not Alucard.
Definitely not Alucard, exactly. He only has one sub-weapon, but with that one he can turn into a bat and fly.
Take the extra.
Which is pretty useful, I would say.
Striker,
Yeah.
were those logs global timers as well?
They are. I was not 100% certain, and I probably could have made it without the last one, but I wanted to be safe.
So in this episode, you see a lot of alternative paths, because especially G-Bell with turning into a bat can get into a lot of them. Like there's a lot of one-tile gaps everywhere.
That accounts for sliding gaps too. It's not just wall gaps or anything like that. Like, keep in mind.
Yeah, it was kind of annoying when you play the game for the first time and you go through episode 1 and 2 and you see those gaps everywhere, but you just can't get in there. But yeah, with G-Bell you can. So it's a lot of different paths. And once again, lightning is pretty good.
That was Gladiosor, believe it or not.
Yeah, the bosses in this category kind of retain the same sort of difficulty settings as in episode 2, in other words. But like the speed strats are definitely, like, you know, mitigating the amount of time used to kill the enemy. So good old lightning orbs.
By the way, Bobby, as a fellow Ultimate player, I actually came up with a cue today that I think you'll appreciate that I never noticed until today.
Oh yeah?
So, I don't know about you, but I absolutely hate trying to time my first dash at the start of the stage. Turns out, if you hold down the... we got the damage juice. If you hold down the dash, or hold down the attack button from the very start, when you hear the sync sound of when it actually comes together and hits Zangetsu, press your dash button, you'll get it on the first frame.
Ooh.
So it's a really nice cue to have now, and I actually did not notice that until today.
That strategy might have some grounds for testing.
God.
Tyke is just giving me the side eye right now.
The virtual side eye. Yeah, I'm going to be taking largely the same path as Bobby. Actually, I think the exact same path as Bobby for 4. Oh.
Yeah, it's really
the same one on this stage.
a little faster since Miriam has a little bit of a momentum between the slides.
Oh, why did I risk that?
Ooh.
That was not worth it.
No, that is not worth it. Can you even get up there now?
You could still, yeah. You have Jeeble.
I don't think I can get up there though, can I?
You got, you can axe the, attack the.
Yeah, if
thing.
you jump up and turn into Jeeble at the same.
Nope.
Oh, no,
Aw.
doesn't work.
That's fine. It's not worth sacking the lightning. So,
But good thing we tested this, right?
yep. I totally know what's in this entire path. I've never seen this room before.
I don't remember this path.
So remember when we went in episode 1 when you picked up Hachi and you were like, yeah, you know, and the stage after that's the Hachi stage. This is pretty much like the Hachi path.
Dang. Oh, okay.
Well, was that a double?
That was a double. Oh no, this is this room.
Oh, this room is the worst.
This room is terrible.
This is the worst room in the whole game, I think. Oh, pretty
I don't
close.
even know what my solution is, but yeah, this
You
one's
could just
bad.
fly. I mean, no.
Fly
I
is-
don't have a lot of
points.
weapon points.
Yeah, it's kind of.
You're having a time here, all right.
Hey, you want to see something improvised? This is definitely the peak of it.
He just wanted to show more of the game, I guess. He
Totally.
realized
Thank you.
he's taking the same path at Bobby, so
Yeah. We appreciate seeing more gameplay here on Testing Grounds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but hey, look at that.
I'm not sure if that's weapon points. It is.
I don't think that was worth it. But
You didn't want that one? I wanted that one.
You didn't think it was worth it, but you know that it wasn't worth it.
So this is one of those rare circumstances where it's like, okay, I could have retried, but had I retried, I would lose not only the lightning, I would lose the axe. And as much as I would love to just speed through this entire section, I'm not sure where my next lightning pickup would be, to be completely honest.
yeah, some sub weapons are a lot rarer than others, and especially lightning is only in very special lanterns. Once per stage, there is a green lantern that always has lightning.
It has its own color. That's how OP it is.
Yeah,
I'm surprised we made it to the boss. I'm not gonna lie.
like every other sub weapon, whenever you destroy a lantern, it drops a sub weapon for the character you have active. But the green one with the lightning always has the lightning. Doesn't matter which character you have active.
I'm not sure if the right play was using the second lightning there, but I did it anyways.
You can just hit the boss 5 times to farm sub weapons with Alfred.
I'll get right on that.
That's a way to get a double hit with the axe in on the second phase. But I'm sure you don't know how to do it. I don't know either anymore.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So yeah, usually you would just use Sengetsu and kill everything pretty fast. By the way, because
I don't
this is
even know where
the
I am.
only stage that has ice physics, Alfred's fire shield actually removes the ice physics.
I
didn't die.
Oof.
I lost sight of myself far too many times in that fight, but
Making waves.
holy. Yeah, that's
I-
usually a one cycle. So
Yeah.
It's also a good thing that Jeeble's attack got buffed, actually, coming into Curse of the Moon, too.
Yeah, do you want to go over how Jeeble's attack actually works, because it is 3 projectiles?
Wait,
Yeah,
it got
so-
buffed?
What?
I didn't think it
got
was buffed, but I thought there was.
I think there's more range on it. Like, I swear there's more range. Like, I call that a buff.
I don't know.
But anyways, so 3 damage for the first bat that's hit, and 1 damage per following, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's
so
all-
5 total. Sengetsu's, we didn't really talk about that, but most characters deal 4 damage. Robert and Alfred deal 3 damage, so you don't really want to do standard attacks with them. And Hachi also deals 5, because I mean Hachi has to be better at everything.
We got them, those armor piercing attacks.
I just realized I also don't have essence.
Oh,
You can get it in the next fire room.
Nice. Woo. The next fire room is in this one?
no, the room
No,
after this one.
Oh, it's right
yeah.
there. Okay, no,
Okay.
I was in. That's okay. I'm gonna assume that was delay. All right.
It's where we know this game.
I don't even know with this game sometimes. That's why we need you. We need you to let us know with this game. Yeah. Zangetsu makes real short work of that.
Yeah, nice.
Another thing I'll go over too, because the dash button in this game is not ideal. You can double tap dash. I guess 1 second. All right, the one thing I wanted to hit from downtown. All right, we got it.
Let's go.
So the way that the dash button works is you can double tap dash, which is absolutely terrible. An alternative to that, you can assign a dash button. Inti, please. You've put out so many wonderful patches so we can hold dash.
Yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I don't play Ultimate at all, because I don't want to press dash button all the time.
That being said, a big mistake that a lot of new runners will make is they will, I should activate Essence, they'll overpress the dash button. Like, he will get a good 5 blocks of step out of each dash press. So anyone that's going to pick up Ultimate, don't kill your hands spamming your dash button. It's not at all worth it.
Just tap it to the beat.
Exactly. All right, see if we can get some max strats. Ugh, didn't want to take that hit.
Still don't understand this double, triple, whatever hit that you can actually do with this X.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Super weird. When he has this lower pattern, when he comes down on the side, you can use the X, and sometimes you hit him like 4 times, which makes no sense at all.
It's amazing, though.
Yeah, it is. Like,
I've
usually
gotten the quad once. And it's today, because today was the first day that I tried it.
perfect.
But
Yeah, but usually you get double hits when your sub-weapon or attack leaves the hitbox and then re-enters it. But I mean, technically,
he never leaves it. He just runs right through your entire hitbox, but it hits him like 4 times.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe he has several hitboxes or something.
I'm not sure. Everyone's favorite.
Good start with the missed dash.
But at the very least, you don't have to deal with any of the early game obstacles.
All right, I'm going to try and throw in some new strats, as in some today strats for you guys that I came up with to see how we fare with this.
Perfect.
If past levels are any indicator, this should go well.
Absolutely.
Nice clip.
I think the stage itself is for the most part not so bad. For me personally, it's more the boss in this stage. Yeah, once again, a lot of different rooms that we didn't see before.
Yeah, EX is a pretty refreshing category.
The drop onto the axe. I basically revised like the last room in this room a little bit to work better with Essence.
Yeah, I think pretty much the reason to go this way is just for this upgrade, because it's in a completely different spot in this episode. And it's just so useful. Like, you use a lot of standard attacks for bosses in this game. Like, as we said before, it's not just use nice X everywhere. So 1 more damage for every hit is pretty substantial.
It really is.
No, we're not doing a final episode run. None of us runs that.
Lies. I run solo Zangetsu final episode.
Wait, did you do that? I didn't know.
I did do that. It took me 17 minutes.
Oh,
And 7 of those were the auto-scroller.
Yes, 7 of those were the auto scrollers. Spoiler: they put in a shmup in final episode.
Yeah,
So
final
this game didn't
episode.
have enough things.
Yeah. And then you have moon physics. Oh god, I don't even want to think about that. Final episode is very interesting routing-wise. There have been a few runs. I don't know how refined those strats are. But the catch with the final episode is that you can choose whatever stage you want out of the first 7. And in each stage is a different companion that you recruit by doing that stage. It's actually random which companion is in which stage. So
And
you
aren't
pretty
they
much want to prepare a safe state where you have a good setup for yourself. And then you can get all 7 characters actually. Oh no, that is an unfortunate death.
Yeah.
You can quit to main menu.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that actually. I think because we're at the start of the stage, that's gonna be my best bet.
yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but I'm taking top route in 7 now. So the big revision that X last had is I basically rerouted stage 5 all the way through to stage 7, based on keeping the lightning and not getting a few more upgrades. The downside to that is I have to take a little bit of a different pathing. So this will be interesting.
So the reason he did a quit to main menu instead of just a retry is that he keeps his sub weapons this way.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. That is definitely a great feature. The game doesn't have a lot of ways to practice, especially if you're a console player like myself and you don't have access to the trainer. But it has tons of save slots. So the best thing you can do is literally just like set yourself up a slot for each
Stage with the appropriate sub weapons. Yeah, I did that as well before the trainer came out.
Oh, Zangetsu won! Oh!
Oh my god.
The attack killed the flame. The attack killed the flame.
You just want to get our hearts racing, don't you?
Yeah, I shouldn't have tried to talk during that section, but I hope everyone.
There were so many ways in which you should have died there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this health. Normally I would go up there with G-Bolt, but I'm gonna get this health.
You should get the ice spell and try to freeze those mechs.
Man, I heard it's great. It works on everything, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. Alright, I'm gonna play
Oh my
that
God.
safe.
You call that safe.
Yeah.
Safe was the noping out part of that, by the way.
Yeah, these rooms are just super scary.
Especially because I'm off cycle.
Yeah, like when you're on your cycle that you know, then it's usually okay, but as soon as you are off, everything is so different. And like, sure, you have a little bit of safety with your double jump, or in this case, switching to G-Bell to actually fly. Oh, nice.
Oh, this is getting out of hand.
These frogs.
Yeah.
But it's still super scary. And if you get hit and boosted into a pit, you can't switch characters to save yourself usually. I mean, sometimes you can, it's kind of weird.
Well, I'm invoking Bobby strats. I'm pretty sure, oh, not anymore. I grabbed that in hopes it would be Essence. I knew it wasn't. Does anyone know where
Tried that a few times already, right?
Actually, I don't need Essence until the end of 8, so I can get it at the end. There's no rooms that I...
Yeah.
Testing grounds. I'm testing how a poorly chain works during this fight.
I mean, you have lightning, so it's fine.
That amount of damage and that contact damage from Gremory is not, however.
Oh my god, you were so close to death there.
Yeah, I didn't look at that. I didn't realize I was at that.
You couldn't take another hit.
Yeah, no, that would have
She deals 4 damage contact.
Once again, providing the clench content.
Oh wait, you don't even have the
I don't have
armor, right?
defense up, no.
So she deals 5 damage contact actually.
So defense up is in the bottom route of this stage, and I take the top route now to save time. So we don't get the +1 to defense to all.
Oh, that's
Scary.
risky. Yeah.
I know, right? It's worth it. It's like 40 odd seconds or something it saves going top route though.
Oh, then yeah, go for it.
That's a lot.
Hey, look, there's an essence there.
Oh yeah.
Did you actually know that?
No, I have his purple. I had nothing to lose.
I don't know why this game always wants to blow up the moon. I mean, it's kind of sad that we don't have final episode, because that's where you really blow up the moon.
Yeah, it's an amazing ending. Solo Zangetsu final episode is just a treat ending-wise. I highly recommend everyone just check it out. If you don't want to play it yourself, you can check out my run, because apparently I'm the only one that runs it.
Yeah, you actually cut the moon in 2. And fun fact, if you play co-op, you cut the moon in 4. It's amazing.
Yeah, a little exclamation.
Icicle lantern strats for everybody.
Yeah, I like that ice.
Use them as platforms.
Yeah, there you can see how strong ice is. Like,
And look how far it travels. Like, it was completely off the screen when it hit him. Let's be honest.
I mean, it hit checkpoints through screen transitions for me, so yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm going to be a little conservative here.
This climb is a lot easier than what Bobby had to do, just because you have a character with high jump. Makes a lot of these jumps possible.
I love that one too. That's a fairly new one too.
Nice
Double
stack. Get ready for climb 2 here. Yeah, just having such a tall jump just bodes extremely well.
Yeah, it's so good if you pair it with a double jump that Zangetsu has.
And this is mainly why, not why, but like it's like thank goodness this is like ultimate mode, you know.
All right, so we started X with a icicle strat, and we're gonna try and end X with an icicle strat.
Yeah, this is the same boss as episode 2 for Bobby, but the strat is very different.
Let's hope I get to show it off. This is the one thing that I really wanted to hit in this run, so let's see.
It feels like it travels a bit further than in Curse of the Moon 1 and hits way off screen. But it did that a little bit in Curse of the Moon 1 as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's also in part to like the surface area of like all stages. Like Curse of the Moon 1 had that really like wonky and compact resolution.
Oh no.
Yeah, Curse of the Moon 1 actually had a 15:9 resolution. That looks good. I think you got the double, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, once again, these sickles will hit, both will hit 23 times in 3 seconds and almost completely kill the boss.
Oh.
Don't die.
No.
Well, wing smash into him.
Yeah. Best finish
Perfect
that
ending.
nobody asked for. I'm just happy I hit sickles. And time is coming up. Time.
GG.
GG's.
GG.
Definitely had to think on my toes Thank you, by the way. Definitely had to think on my toes with the loss of Zangetsu. I had to think of kind of the greater good because we were partway through stages. And yes, I wanted to go fast. Yes, I wanted to dash, but ultimately it's not worth losing the lightning in the axe.
Yeah, stage 4 was interesting.
I've never seen it like that before. Yeah, that was something that I was really nervous about beforehand, and I was trying faster strats on it, and realistically, I should have just backed off and taken the easy strat. Like, that would have been so much cleaner, but I'm still happy with that. My best time is I think it's 27:17, if I'm not mistaken. But with new boss strats in 5, we're definitely going to push into the 26s here soon. But yeah, that is Ultimate X mode.
Well done, Strizer. Congratulations. And thank you to all three of you for running tonight. Strizer, do you have any final shout outs? Any projects that you're working on?
Yeah, definitely. Like everyone else here, I can be found on Twitch, and I'm actually in the middle of organizing a Game Over Cancer marathon. So I'm on the board for Game Over Cancer, and it's something that I've been doing for quite a few years now. It started as a modest event of me doing runs, turned into me restreaming runs of other people, and it's now grown into, this year we're doing 2 events. Because we normally have live events, so we're trying to mitigate with the COVID situation and whatnot. But I volunteered to do a second event, which is going to be October 2nd to October 4th. It's going to run Friday at, I say 7 p.m. Atlantic, although I know most people don't know Atlantic time, which is 6 p.m. Eastern time. Atlantic is one ahead. And it's actually going to go until past midnight Sunday nonstop. And we've got just a slew of amazing runners. Lots of Mega Man, lots of Castlevania. We've got some Bloodstained, if you liked what you saw here. We've also got a mix of some randomizers and some RPGs. It's going to be an amazing event. And yeah, it's kind of a passion project for me. I've got a lot of family on my mom's side that I've lost to cancer. And I know obviously it impacts a lot of other people that I know. My best friend beat it when he was a teenager. He had lymphoma. So it's an amazing cause. And I always look forward to seeing what we can put together and seeing who we can showcase.
Thank you for sharing that, Strizer. For any of the three of you, do you have any final shout outs for tonight?
The Bloodstained community and GDQ, really. I was able to fortunately showcase the first game at one of the previous live events, and I love that they recognize the potential for this as kind of one to fill the slot of the 2D Castlevania games. And the Discord's been amazing. There's so many contributors. It's not just the 3 of us. There's so many people that contribute that I could not possibly name everybody without forgetting somebody.
Yeah, I can only agree. The Bloodstained community is great. Yeah, I would be happy if we see a few more people interested and join our Discord. And I think we're pretty helpful and can get you started if you want to get into this game or any of the Bloodstained games, really.
Yeah, not only are we helpful, but we're definitely open to, again, a lot of comparing notes and route taking and strategizing for the myriad of categories, especially in Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. Like, we showcase only a few of the modes in many styles and difficulties. So if you wanted to take a single character into your own hands, or even another category that's not yet on the leaderboards, like, it is completely open. We are completely open. We are ever the more engaging.
There's a lot of solo runs that can be done, and there's actually surprisingly some amazingly deep tech that you can find for solo characters. If you thought some of the stuff that I was doing was treacherous when I lost Zangetsu, wait until you see a solo Albert run, which one of us here has done.
Or a solo Robert. It's amazing.
Or, you could just cheese the game with solo Hachi.
I mean, that's easy mode, right?
Doggo punch.
Then free world record. Come get it.
Yeah, come join the community, everyone, and check out their Discord. All right. With that, that wraps it up for Testing Grounds tonight. The next thing that's going to be on the Games Done Quick channel is going to be the Mystery Tournament, which starts tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So come see that. We're going to have a bunch of runners blind racing a series of games. And a reminder to everyone that an online all-woman speedrunning event, Frame Fatales, is returning with Fleet Fatales. And the game submissions are open through the end of tonight. And the game schedule for that will be released on October 14th. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a good night.